Hi, let us discuss this problem. In this problem, you are given a string and you need to remove all the adjacent duplicate characters recursively. Okay, what do we mean by this? This means that suppose we have A, C, C, and again A. So removing the first adjacent duplicate characters would be removing this to C. After removing this to C, this A and A would concatenate, and then these two are again duplicates. So we would get the output of this as an empty string. So let us do that. So we can see that we need to remove EE and then again EE. So we can see that G, K, S and F, O, R, G and K. G, K, S, F, O, R, G, K. We can remove that. But after concatenation, if again we had the duplicate characters, then we need to remove it again. Adjacent means side by side. Okay. Now we move forward and we try to think the possible ways. The possible ways to remove it recursively would be that we would first remove all the adjacent duplicates. So we would remove all duplicates. After removing all duplicates, then we need to see the concatenated string. And again, if again a duplicate has arisen, we need to again remove that. So remove again. Now, this two things needs to be done again and again. So if these two things are to be done again and again, then what is the upper bound till which we need to do? So let's think in this way. Let's suppose we have C, A, C, and we have again D, D. Okay. And then suppose we have F itself. So removing the duplicate first would remove these two, and the resultant string after removing this would be C, C, and D. Now we need to again remove this two, and then we would have F, D, D. Again we would remove this two, and then we would have simply F. So till which point we are doing this? We are doing this to the point where we don't have any duplicates more. So how we would do that? Doing that is absolutely very easy. We would again check that first we would store the copy of the string. Okay. And then we would try to remove the duplicates. If even after removing the duplicates, this copy of the string and this remains the same, this implies that no more duplicates exist. This is what you need to do. Okay. So now what are the things we need to do? We need to design a function which would remove the duplicates, and recursively removing would be done on our end. Okay. So now how to remove the duplicate side by side? What we can do is we can generate a new string of suppose answer. Okay. Then if the current string, suppose we have A, C, C and D. So if the current string and the next string, so the current character will be having a next character. The first condition would be when it is less than the size. So if I is less than n minus 1. So if I is less than n minus 1, so n minus 1 is still the point we can go. So n less than n minus 1 means there are characters on the right hand side. So if there are characters on the right hand side, then we can check, otherwise we would have out of bounds. So this implies that we have characters on the right hand side. Then we would check that if the current character is equal to the next character. If that is it, then we would simply skip this. Okay. Now suppose there are many characters, C, 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 like this. So if there are many characters, we need to go till the number of characters. So only one condition, if condition won't work. Why? Because we are not aware what would be the number of characters and it is not fixed. So what we need to do is we need to use a loop. So we can simply use a while loop to increment that. Okay. So we would suppose we encountered a position where the next character is same. We move forward and then we see the next character is same. So we again move forward. Then we again see we need to keep doing it. That is why we would use a while loop here. Else, if this is not the condition and the next character is not equal or we are at the boundary. In these two conditions, we would simply push that character to the answer. And then we would recursively check if we are able to make improvement, we would keep doing that. And the point where we are not able to make any improvement, we would return that. This is what we need to do. So you would get the more hang of it when we start the implementation. So let's move to the implementation now. Okay, so we are given the string here. So first we would design the function which would return us the modified string after removing the duplicates. Remember, this would not recursively remove, okay? So string rem, I would name it as to remove. So string s, and then we would initialize a string answer, and then I would store the size in n, okay, to make it more intuitive. And then we would start with int I is equals to 0, okay, and then we would keep iterate on the whole string. So I should be less than n, okay, fair enough. Now if I is less than n minus 1, okay, this is the first condition, that we have characters on the right hand side. So if we have characters on the right hand side, this is to be checked first. If this condition is true, then we would move to the next condition, that s of I and s of I is equals to s of I plus 1. So now if the current character is equal to the next character, we need to now figure it out till how much we need to move forward. So we need to use a while loop while I is less than n minus 1, because if we keep moving forward, it might be the case that we came to the last point. Okay, suppose it is c, only c. We came at the last point, and then now the second while loop, the nested while loop, is checking for the next character. That would be again an error. That is why we would again check this, and then we would check if s of I is equals to s of I plus 1. If this is the scenario, we would keep moving forward, I plus plus. Okay, else if this is not the scenario, either we are at the boundary, or that is we have no characters on the right hand side, or the character at the current position is not equal to the next position. Okay, so we would simply do answer dot push back the current s of I. Okay, and then after this I would show you while I'm doing this. Okay, so after this, suppose it is c, and this is a, and this is d. Suppose we are at this character, then we checked this character and we moved forward. So now we are at this character. So now this character is skipped, we know that. Now when we would come to this character, we still have on the right hand side, but this character is not equal to the next character. So this would be the scenario. So whenever we encounter a duplicacy, we need to skip one character. Otherwise, the string would be a, after ACCD, we would have ACD. So we need to skip one character only. Okay, the original, the only character. So we would do I plus plus here itself, not here. Okay, that is why we are doing this. After doing all of this, just return the string, and then to check the duplicacy if we are able to improve or not. So we would start with an empty string, that string s1. Okay, now we would do what? The originals, the modified string, and the mod s or s dot size is not equal to, s of size is not equal to s1 dot size itself. While it is not equal, that means if we are still able to make improvement, we would keep moving forward. If it is equal, that means the current iteration and after the modification, the size remains the same. This is what we need to do. So now we would do is s1, first we would copy this character, first copy this string, then we would modify the s, that is rem of s. So we have modified the s. Even after modification, so s1 would be having just the previous string and s would be having the current string. If previous and current are same, that means no modification was done on this end. If they are not same, that means modifications were done. So we would return either of the string. So I would just return the s itself. We would just check this. Okay, seems correct for a sample test case. And yes, we have successfully solved this problem. That's it for today. Thank you and have a nice day. If you face any difficulty regarding this problem, consider asking them in the doubts. Thank you.